They wear black uniforms and black masks and say they're spying on you now and say they're building FEMA camps to scare you. It's for you. And by for you, people out there watching on the internet later, watching this speech, understand, for you that serve the system, for you that know where the skeletons are buried, for you that are middle class. This system that they have designed is around and is designed for attacking the general public and attacking people that have served them. We don't have a choice. All of us have to say no to these criminals. All of us have to say that radical Islamic fundamentalism was created by the British and the United States to take over the Middle East. That was official U.S. government policy. And you used them to attack the Serbs. And you used them to attack the Iranians. I mean, it's so amazing to me. I know I talk a lot about this on the radio. You probably heard me talk about it ad nauseum. That they continue to say that Iran is Al-Qaeda with their Shia. And then for 4 years, Bush has publicly been funding real Wahhabi groups headed up by the supposed number 3 of Al-Qaeda. One day he's bad, next day he's our boy, next day they report they've killed him while he's running attacks against our enemy, Iran. Okay, quote, our enemy, globalist enemy. I have that psychology that, I'm with this, that we're with this government. This is not our government. We have to deprogram ourselves. I have to every day deprogram myself. And then they're blowing up mosques, blowing up police stations, blowing up schools. It's on a weekly basis, and Iran just sits there and goes, oh, we're going to sue you in international court. Your Al-Qaeda groups blew more stuff up. Meanwhile, you tune into Rush Limbaugh, a fake conservative, there to make conservatives go to sleep and not know what's happening. He's talking about Iran launching more Al-Qaeda attacks. And John McCain's talking about Iran launching more Al-Qaeda attacks. These people are liars. And all we have to do is go out and show the public that they're liars and criminals and crooks. And as things get worse and worse, they won't be able to grandstand and get the public to go along with their next phase. We can actually take the fact that they destroyed everything and destroyed the dollar and screwed up the economy and use that against them, because they deserve to have that used against them, instead of these bastards always grandstanding as the saviors. So in closing, just think about how far we've come in almost 7 years now. Think about how, if you told somebody 6.5 years ago that 9/11 was an inside job, everybody kind of instinctively would go, I've had a bad feeling, it's kind of weird, but why? But still, you were seen as somewhat of a kook. And then 3 years after, when they did polls, the majority of Americans believed they were being lied to. A huge minority believed it was an inside job. That's when a pollster's calling you on the phone. They've done studies showing that people tend to go with the establishment line in a poll. So if 4 years ago, 36% said, we believe the government did it, probably double that. I've talked to a lot of pollsters. I've conducted polls. I've paid for them with Zogby and others. And it's more like 60 plus 70% believe it's an inside job. And that was 4 years ago. Now they have polls where 84% believe the government's lying about 9/11. And then it comes out they have been lying about 9/11 the whole time. They say it's crazy that the government can carry out an attack like that. It's too complex. It's too big. But guys in a cave, now they can do it. And then you go through all the evidence. So think about all the people that have gone public. German defense ministers and an Italian president, and high-level members of the Japanese parliament, and Willie Nelson, and Charlie Sheen, and, of course, Governor Ventura, and the best actress this year, 2008, and hundreds of scientists, and engineers, and architects, more and more. And then they publish in prestigious scientific journals, and are proving that the buildings were blown up. And at every point, the debunkers say, you don't have any scientists, so they give them all these scientists. Well, you don't have any engineers. Give them all these engineers. Well, you don't have any physicists. Give them all these physicists. Well, you don't have any papers scientifically showing it. Here are the papers. Well, they're not peer-reviewed. Here, they're in all these peer-reviewed prestigious journals. Well, you don't have any eyewitnesses, and all these videos of firemen and police going, they said get back, they're about to blow it. And then the BBC and CNN all at the same time say the exact same thing. Building 7, Sullivan's Brothers, fell completely, a total collapse, and its own footprint. They look behind them and it's still standing. And thousands of things, on and on. And even young aides in the bunker with Cheney under the White House going, it's 50 miles out. And comes back, it's 20 miles out, it's 10 miles out. Does the order still stand? Of course it still stands. And we know what that order was. That order was a stand-down order. 2 months before, Dick Cheney took the power from the generals and the admirals and their designates. They'd always had it since World War II, had it since NORAD was set up in '57. They took it away and said, you can't shoot planes down anymore. I have to give the order. 2 months before, they were taking the levers out of the control of the Air Force and the Army. How much more obvious does this have to get?